President Trump just called on the European Union to slap 100% tariffs on China and India, yes, both of them, as part of his push to force Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine. But will this bold gamble work or backfire on the global economy? Today, we'll break down what Trump asked the EU to do, why he's targeting China and India, how Russia fits into the equation, and the potential consequences for US and global markets. During a meeting between US and EU officials on Tuesday, Trump urged Europe to impose tariffs of up to 100% on goods from China and India. According to reporting from the Financial Times and BBC, this demand came as Washington looks for new ways to pressure Putin after the heaviest Russian bombardment on Ukraine since the war began. Trump told reporters he plans to speak directly with Putin this week or early next. Even as Russian missile and drone strikes killed civilians and destroyed Ukrainian infrastructure over the weekend. Here's the key: China and India are among Russia's biggest oil buyers. That oil money is what's keeping Moscow's economy afloat despite years of sanctions. By targeting Beijing and Delhi with tariffs, Trump hopes to cut off Russia's financial lifeline indirectly. The EU has pledged to end its dependency on Russian energy, but as of now, about 19% of its natural gas still comes from Russia. Up until now, Europe's strategy has focused on sanctions and reducing imports, not blanket trade levies on countries doing business with Moscow. If the EU caves to Trump's request, it would mark a major shift from sanctioning Russia directly to punishing its trading partners. This push comes after Russia struck Ukraine's main government building in Kyiv, killing civilians in Donbas, and launching 810 drones and 13 missiles across the country in just one weekend. For Trump, the escalation is proof that stronger measures are needed to bring Putin to the table, especially after last month's Alaska summit, with Putin failed to deliver a peace deal. Meanwhile, Trump is juggling a delicate relationship with India. Just last month, the US hit Indian goods with a 50% tariff, citing trade with Russia. But this week, Trump wrote on Truth Social that the US and India are close friends and natural partners, and promised to wrap up trade negotiations soon. Prime Minister Modi echoed that optimism, calling talks with Washington a top priority. So what happens if Europe actually imposes 100% tariffs on China and India? Winners, potentially Ukraine, if Russia loses oil revenue. Losers, European consumers who'd face higher prices on Chinese and Indian imports, from electronics to clothing. And of course, China and India themselves, who might retaliate with tariffs of their own, risking a new trade war that drags in the US. Critics argue Trump's tariff push could split NATO unity, anger India just as relations are warming, and hurt global supply chains. They also note that Trump has threatened harsher measures before, but rarely followed through. Whether Europe takes this seriously will depend on how desperate leaders are to choke off Russian revenue. Trump says he'll speak to Putin in the coming days, and plans to call Modi in the weeks ahead. The EU hasn't confirmed whether it will consider the 100% tariff idea, but with Russian strikes intensifying, pressure is mounting for a tougher response. So, should Europe risk a trade war with China and India to stop Putin's war in Ukraine? Or would that punish ordinary consumers more than Moscow? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates on global politics and US foreign policy.